Okay, what we got to do here is, so I need to mix some paint. I need to make some special color. And normally I do this on, so you see, we can do it on the wet palette. We can do it on a piece of paper towel, which sucks up some of the water and makes it a little bit more like dry brushing. But a lot of times I use a piece of glass to mix it on. And what I have here is a mirror. See that? 12 by 12 mirror. All right, beveled mirror. Now I'm using this because I think I probably broke my piece of glass that I normally use to do this. What I did before was I would put these rubber feet on here and I'd have a nice little piece of glass for mixing up epoxy and mixing up paints or whatever one. And then you can scrape this with a window cleaning razor blade setup to clean it and it'd be good as new again. This time we're going to do this. We're going to take this piece of mirror, since I don't have a regular piece of glass. I think the mirror will be good. I cut a piece of toolbox liner. Okay, now this toolbox liner you got to be somewhat careful of, because if you leave this set down on here, this stuff like adheres to a surface and then peels off, and it's kind of crappy. So when we're done using this, we need to set it up so that the toolbox liner doesn't grab on to wherever we keep it. That's fine. We'll find a place for that. Okay, so I want to glue this on there. Of course, I'm going to use Amazing Goop because I want to use this quickly. So I'm going to take a little bit of goop here, and I just want to smear it a little bit around the edges. Not too much, because I want to use this like quickly. That ought to be plenty. See, that just barely scrape the surface on it. Okay. Now I have to keep the goop in a glass like that so I can use my X-Acto blade to get at it. Alright, so then I'm going to take my toolbox liner and put them on just like that. Smooth them out. Yep. That ought to be the trick. There we go. Okay, now I've got my piece of glass on a non-slip surface, so it's not going to slip around, and that's what I want. This here is going to be used, and so if you mix epoxy or Bondo or other stuff on here, you got to make sure you scrape it off quickly before you have to put a bunch of pressure on it to scrape it. You can get it cleaned off and scrape it up as soon as you're done using it. Keep it nice and clean, and very useful tool to have. In a little bit here, I'm going to show you, we're going to mix up some colors and we're going to paint something. But there it is. This is my new paint mixing surface. You can use it for epoxy, can use it for paint, whatever I want to do. Now, here's the other thing. When I mix paint on here, basically, the paint I mix on here, I mean, I'm not transferring to something. I got to mix it and then use it. And that'll be the way it is. That's fine. But if we get a good recipe, we can save it. We can save the recipe in an artist book, which I'll probably show you when we start mixing paint. That's all there is to it. Now I got a nice mixing surface for all those things, especially epoxy. I'd like to be able to use epoxy. Now I got someplace to mix it on. And Bondo. Another one.